Check it. Alright, what is up? You are back for another video with Data Zero. In this video, we're looking at AMC, our favorite meme stocks. We're going to look at possible theories and possible reasons why we've seen so much dumpage here on AMC. We're also going to look at the technicals and fundamentals and seeing where AMC is going to be headed here into after hours and into the next couple of days. We're also going to be looking at APE as well, as I do think APE is on a possible path to a short squeeze. And we're going to be looking at SPY because I think this is going to be the top, which I called out at 460, 455. So we're going to be looking at all this and more in this video. We're also checking out GME. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and look at the charts, the facts, the data, leaving emotion at the door. Let's go. All right, guys, what is up? You are back for another video with Data Zero. In this video, we're looking at AMC, GME, the favorite meme stocks. We're also going to be looking at APE as well and looking at SPY. There is so much to cover in the market, as we've seen SPY have a absolute bloodbath today. AMC have a absolute bloodbath today. GME experiencing pure whiplash as it moved to the up and downside rapidly throughout the day. APE ending green on the day, and stocks like BBIG absolutely going insane. So we're going to get into all of that and more. We're going to be talking about why AMC seen such a dip and a possible theory behind that. So let's go ahead and hop in the charts and see what we have going on. This video is not financial advice and should not be taken as such. Please do your own research and technical analysis before buying any stock or crypto asset. Let's go ahead and hop in the charts and see what we have going on. So the first thing we need to point out is SPY. So let's go ahead and hop over to my Twitter and check out SPY. Let's go ahead and check out the daily update and prediction for SPY today for 7/27. Here's your daily update and prediction for SPY. So SPY had a big gap up here in after hours and pre-market because of Meta earnings and a few other stocks earnings, pushing it to the upside, giving it this huge gap. Now, because of this gap, we are going to see some pullback to, at the minimum, 456. So 456 will be retested as support. If that holds as support, we could make that move to about 460. So because of the gap fill, predicting a green or red candle is going to be extremely hard. Because of the gap, we will open up here, but we could close down here and still be green on the day. But the candle would actually be printed as red. So therefore, I'm going to be predicting a red candle print, but it's going. And as you guys can see, we did get that red candle print here on SPY. In fact, it's a big bullish engulfing candle on SPY, and I do think this is the potential top. I did call out 460 as the top multiple times back in the previous months, way before July 20th. I have called this out, but I went ahead and posted this on Twitter, letting everyone know. I also called out a major trade here on Apple in the Discord, and I'm letting everyone know publicly that I am closing that trade. I did close that trade today, a trade from $150 on Apple, taking profit all the way up at the top at around 193. And again, I am taking profit on that because I do believe Apple is going to be bearish. I'm officially marking Apple a sell in my Discord. I'm going to go ahead and let everyone know that publicly if you guys do want that information for free. Now let's go ahead and look at where SPY I think is headed and where I think we could potentially see this thing going here in the future. So SPY found support here at 451. So it does look like SPY could see a potential bounce coming off the upside of this major dip to the downside. Now, again, this bounce is going to be expected because after a big push to the downside, you are going to expect a bounce back to the upside. Let's go ahead and pop on the Bollinger Bands and see what we could expect for SPY based off of the fundamentals and technicals. So I do think we could see a bounce all the way back up to about 453. This could happen tomorrow. This could definitely happen tomorrow. But after we hit that 453 level, I do think we're going to see some downside. I do think this is going to be the actual top for SPY, and we're going to start seeing downside capitulation here after this big move to the downside. We can see that momentum is starting to dry up on SPY as we do have a MACD cross to the bearish side on the daily time frame. We can also see that volume is steadily decreasing to the downside. Again, a uptrend on decreasing volume is not a bullish sign. Also, if we go ahead and look at the weekly time frames, we can see that RSI is heavily overextended and about matching the time as it would be when we seen that last major top on SPY. You can see that it was trading about that 72, 73 range, and it is currently trading at about 69, hitting a top at about 71 earlier today.
day. So I do think we are going to see an overall top for SPY, as there's many signs of bearish divergence in this trend. You can see on the weekly time frame, volume overall to the downside. You can see that the trend is upside, that is bearish divergence. You can also see that we are hitting major resistance right here at the top of the bands, which is heavy resistance. Again, multiple signs that we're meeting the top and we are going to be seeing downside. We also have multiple gap fills here to the downside. Again, I do think this is going to be the actual top for this rally on SPY, and that's what I'm looking at for SPY on the short and long term. Again, I do think we're about to see a overall correction in the market, and even stocks like Apple and Tesla are about to see major pullbacks. Again, I am bearish on Apple. I think it's about to top out here as well. You can see that momentum is dying out on the MACD. Volume is drying up. It's on a downtrend as well. And you guys can see that RSI is heavily overextended. Again, taking profit on a massive trade I called here at 150. Let's go ahead and hop into the meme stocks, show you guys what is going on, a potential theory on why there is so much bearishness on AMC, where we can go on AMC, and what is happening next. I also want to point out that there is a potential short squeeze for APE. So I do think APE is actually setting up for a short squeeze. So we're going to get into both of these things here in a second. Let's go ahead and talk about AMC stock, show you guys what's going on for AMC and what I do expect based off of the technicals and what I am seeing here currently. So here in after hours, I do expect us to hold this 450 level. I made a midday market update warning everyone that 450 was going to be the point that we do find a bottom. You guys can see that we came right down to 450 and found the bottom right at that range, calling that out absolutely perfect. Now we're going to basically see right here and confirm if this is going to be the bottom or if we have to see another leg down, filling this gap fill. So there is still a gap fill here on the daily time frame. If we go ahead and show you guys and zoom in, we are seeing a gap fill here at 51 cents all the way down to about 47 cents, that range. So 51 to 47 cents. So the bottom in the next leg down would actually be that 41-cent range. Now, I want people to not understand that they do not get discouraged. A lot of manipulation happened today. A lot of manipulation. So if we go ahead and look at shares available to short, you guys can see that there are a ton of shares available to short. You guys can see that there's a major issue here, and we can also see that on the short volume. So this is a setup to see short volume on the daily time frame. We can see that the short volume was over 52% of the overall short volume. Absolute insanity on AMC stock. Over 52% was the short volume. So you guys can see that there was a massive amount of short volume on today, and it was about 54%, showing you how much short volume we had today. Now, why did they have so much short volume? So the first thing we can see that AMC's cost to borrow is dropping rapidly. We can see that AMC's cost to borrow is sitting at about 194%. So that would make it a little bit more easy for them to get shares. Now, that's still a very high cost to borrow, but this is a little bit more of the theoretical side, but it's definitely confirmable. There are multiple reports, and even I got a call myself about sending or lending out your shares for a large amount of money. Now, these calls are normally reserved for people that hold at least $100,000 of stock. You need to hold a decent amount of stock for these people to call you, but they have been calling lots of people, and I'm sure that apes with this hard times needed the money, and some of them probably lent it out. Now, normally what's probably going to happen is, and this is the messed up part, the apes that didn't need the money are probably the ones that took it, and the apes that really needed the money, they're probably the ones that rejected the offer. But congratulations to all the apes that didn't lend their shares out, because it definitely hurts to play very bad. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it does to the play when people lend out their shares. So let's go ahead and hop into the charts for AMC on the short share and show you guys how we can see the manipulation and how that affects the apes when people lend out their shares. So today they had 250,000 shares. They used 100,000 right in the morning, and I showed this on my video showing the manipulation in real time. So what happened here in the morning is right in the morning they dumped their shares. Then you guys can see that they only had a few thousand shares left. So let's go ahead and look. So they had in the morning as of right here. So right here's the morning, not 6 hours ago, or right here, 7 hours ago, they had 300,000 shares. Then right in the morning, they used 100,000 of them. Then you guys can see that they reloaded up, and they were able to reload up on shares time and time and time and time again. You guys can see repeatedly they were able to use the shares and get more, use the shares and get more, and just use shares all day long. And this is what that looks like when you have over 50% or 54% short interest on a daily volume amount. And you also have all of these short shares being used to push us down. You guys can see massive sell pressure on AMC the whole time, but we were still able to hold that $4.50 mark as support. This is very, very critical for us to maintain a relevant space, for us to be able to move back to the upside. Now, don't get discouraged, because we could be at the point where we see AMC actually dip down even further before actually seeing a short squeeze. Now, a lot of people say you can't compare Volkswagen to AMC, but a short squeeze is a short squeeze. You can compare any short squeeze to any short squeeze. And if you look at most short squeezes, they always have one thing in common. They have a capitulation before you see the big rip up. On most short squeeze charts that you look at, you can look at multiple short squeeze charts, not just Volkswagen, you see a capitulation to the downside before a push to the upside. So we could see that for AMC, or this could be that process right now. Now, I want to point out several things that are going on with AMC as far as the technicals, showing that we'll probably get a bounce here off of that 450 range. But if we see more downside, it doesn't matter where the price is. We could squeeze at any time because of the plumbing for AMC, the short interest volume, the fact that we're still on the threshold security list, the fact that cost to borrow is at 194%. Again, on the threshold security list for the 20th day, failure to deliver is piling up, and we have 29.5% short interest on a stock near 52-week lows. Again, all setups for a massive short squeeze. Now let's go ahead and look at where the price could potentially be by tomorrow and moving here in the after hours. So you guys can see that we're way outside of the bands on the 2-hour time frame. I do think we're going to see a little bit of recovery here in the after hours, moving back up to about $4.55, possibly $4.60. If we can see that recovery, we could potentially see more upside by tomorrow. But the thing we have to look for is that attack from short shares. We're also seeing the market absolutely dump. So if the market starts to pull AMC down, that could affect it at first. But if we see a overall crash in the market, liquidity start to drying up, and the overall tech stocks start to fall, we could see margin calls and a possible scenario where AMC could squeeze. Again, I've done multiple videos on how a actual market crash could cause AMC to squeeze, but we'd want to see a actual crash. Like, I'm talking about the market actually tanking, not just moving to the downside. Now, again, AMC also has negative beta, so that doesn't mean it has to necessarily move with the market. It's going to be affected with the market because it's in the market, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to move with SPY. If that makes sense, it should make sense to you. Now, this is what I'm looking at for AMC on the short and long term. Again, when in doubt, zoom out. We have to look at the bigger time frames of things. You guys can see here on the weekly time frame, we have the Bollinger Bands constricting, pressure building up. We also can see that we are trying to get momentum to the upside here on the alligator. You can see that green line right there. That is the alligator. It's showing you that momentum is changing, and we do have the breakout of this falling wedge here. All bullish signs for more indications of that upside that we are all waiting for. And again, we need shorts to feel the pressure and get in the right position, because this thing is a pressure cooker that could pop at any time. And again, if this market starts to pull back, that could help AMC be the trigger. We also have possible indications of the banking crisis getting much worse. This could also be a trigger for the AMC squeeze as well. If we look at the 4-hour time frame here, you guys can see that the Bollinger Bands are constricting. Again, I do think we could come down to fill that gap, but it could be the trigger of a spring for something much larger, like we see on the Volkswagen short squeeze, again dropping down and then getting a spring to something much larger. So this is what I'm looking at for AMC on the short and long term. Let's go ahead and show you guys what's popping off with APE and what I expect from APE. APE is setting up for a nasty move. Okay, we had this push, we had this crazy drop to the downside in after hours. Then we absolutely recovered in a few days. I do think all these stocks are setting up for a rally. That's why we're seeing this volatility in them, and that's why we're seeing the market start to pull back. Again, I've been a long time proponent of telling you guys that SPY was going to start moving to the downside and meme stocks would decouple from SPY, moving to the upside. And I've also said Bitcoin was going to decouple from SPY and move to the upside. And I do think we're starting to see that market come to fruition. But if you go ahead, but the macro takes time to play out. Now, if we go ahead and look at the 4-hour time frame for APE, you can see that the Bollinger Bands are constricting, getting very, very tight, telling us volatility is coming. And we can see this play of this right here, of this bullish pennant. So we had this pushed upside. Let's go ahead and clean up the chart just a little bit so you guys can see. Pop that off right there. So we have this bullish pennant right here. Then we have this pop to the upside, giving us the breakout of this bullish pennant, which would lead to $2.10 for that breakout target. Now, the thing about that particular breakout target is it's part of a larger macro setup. So let's go ahead and zoom out and show you guys the macro setup that APE has. It is a cup and handle breakout. Again, I sound like a broken record when it comes to this because it's a macro setup. It takes time to play out, but you have your cup right here. Right here is your handle. Breakout target is that $2.10 support. So if you can use that as support, you will push up and fill this gap to $2.60. And again, if APE goes to this $3 level, it could shoot to $5, absolutely getting out of control. And if we look at APE short interest, it is increasing because they're trying to keep this thing down. 13.91% here reported on Fintel. I do think APE is setting up for a major short squeeze. And if we look at APE short volume, it is absolutely insane as well. 56% on the day, absolutely going insane. So again, they're trying to keep this thing down, but we could see the market start to move to the downside, drying up liquidity, as well as short interest going up on a stock that is rising, causing a short squeeze. Again, that is why I think APE is setting up for a short squeeze. That's why I posted APE is also setting up for a short squeeze. GME as well, still looking incredibly bullish in my personal opinion. When in doubt, zoom out. These everyday movements can drive you absolutely insane. You guys can see that the Bollinger Bands here on the daily time frame are starting to constrict, and we're working on a bullish cross here on the daily time frame. I do think once we get this bullish cross on the daily time frame, GME could actually get this push to the upside. It looks like we came back down and retested this wedge as support, which is a bullish sign. Again, this is a macro wedge, so this is going to take time to break out of. We're going to need multiple retests and confirmations as this is support, but once it does get that final retest and confirmation of support, which it looks like it is now, getting a beautiful bounce to the upside, we will break that $30 level. And then once GME breaks $30, it can absolutely go flying. Again, sounds like a broken record with this one as too because it's a macro setup, but we have that gamma ramp there at that $30 level. We also have a macro technical setup of a double bottom for GME and this massive falling wedge. But right here is your double bottom, bottom number one, bottom number two, as we turn around and push to the upside. And then also in the daily time frame, we have a gap fill for GME right here at $40, which I do think is going to be filled as well. Multiple indications that we are going to see more upside for GME on the macro time frame. So it takes time for these things to happen, but it looks like, again, GME setting up for this move as it's retesting this wedge right here as support, not coming quite down to macro sloping resistance here, but actually retesting this one. So again, that is very, very bullish. Maybe a wick down to macro sloping resistance, but it looks like we are holding support. I do expect GME and AMC to recover. They were attacked heavily today, especially AMC attacked heavily today, and we can see AMC already starting to move up here in after hours. Again, like I'm saying, we're making this beautiful rounded bottom on AMC. I do think we're going to start trending to the upside here in after hours, retesting these higher highs of $5.60. Again, repeating that $5.60, $5.70, around that range. And I do think we're going to recover here into after hours for AMC and GME, moving back to this upside and again setting up for this macro setup and continuing to play out. So guys, this is pretty much everything I have for you guys. Again, AMC could see a sudden drop. I do think this is going to be the bottom. I called that out earlier, the $5.50 bottom. I do think this is actually going to be the top for SPY. Overall, moving to the downside, seeing a crash and capitulation, which could actually help AMC and cause the squeeze. Let's go ahead and wrap up the video. If you watched to the end, I truly appreciate you all. As always, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out.
Alright guys, that was the video. If you found it informative, go ahead and drop a like. Subscribe for more content like this. And remember, you can check me out on Twitter and Discord for even more Data Zero updates. I talk about my stocks, cryptos, trades, go live stream, talk about technical analysis, current trades that I'm doing, and more on the community Discord. It is a private Discord. It's $50 for a lifetime invite. Link down below is my Instagram and Twitter. If you want to get in and join the community, which is a great community, all you have to do is message me on Instagram or Twitter. Then you guys can make payment and I'll go ahead and send you the link. It's easy as that. And as always, I truly appreciate each and every one of you that watched the end of this video, because so few people watch the end of this video. And as always, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out.